Welcome back, everyone, to the program. And now here are some of your stories in brief. We begin with the Bayelsa state government. They're giving an account of their spendings, and they've announced the sum of 4.718 billion naira as the total balance as at the end of February 2019, while giving a breakdown of both income and expenditure for the months of January and February 2019. The Deputy Governor, retired Rear Admiral John Jonah, disclosed the sum of 1.9 billion naira as amount derived from IGR, internally generated revenue, for the month of February. Elsewhere, members of the North Central Caucus of the All Progressives Congress, APC, in the House of Representatives have appealed to the leadership of the party to consider zoning the position of the Speaker in the coming 9th National Assembly. The spokesman of the caucus, Representative John D.A., based the appeal on the need for fairness, equity, and what he calls a sense of justice. Well, let's find out what's happening in Kano City. Our correspondent Idris Jibrin is there for us ahead of the Saturday supplementary election. Idris?
All right. Thank you very much, Millicent. Like you see, like you just see the reports, the civil society organizations and different kind of people that came to the Kano State Government House yesterday to submit a letter to the governor regarding the Saturday's rerun election, asking for peace and stability in the commercial city of Kano. The youth are united, asking the governor, as the chief security officer of the state, to ensure peaceful conduct of the election process. Now, I'm being joined by the Director General, Media and Publicity to the Kano State Governor, Mr. Aminu Yesar, who will be shedding more light to us regarding the preparation of the rerun election. Mr. Aminu Yesar, thank you very much for joining us on Channels Television.
Thank you and good afternoon.
Sir, yesterday you received a group of youth regarding the peace. Now, given the situation, the supplementary election on Saturday, how is it going to happen? What do we expect?
I think we should expect peaceful, free elections in Kano. As far as I'm concerned, the APC and indeed the government of Kano State does not have a history of rancorous elections in Kano. So we are trying to maintain that. We are trying to ensure that peace prevails so that we have a peaceful atmosphere and that nobody is hurt before, during, and after the elections.
Now, seeing the youth yesterday, they are not the only ones. Are you reaching to other political parties, other groups, to see how you can be able to ensure a peaceful polls?
Indeed, the government and our party, the APC, are working with all stakeholders, the traditional institution, the ulama, youth leaders, women groups, market people, and all other stakeholders to ensure that the elections are conducted under peaceful situations.
So you are telling the world that Kano is good to go and that it's going to be peaceful. There is going to be, what are you saying in it?
Most certainly, the elections will be peaceful, inshallah, in Kano.
Looking at the margin that during the presidential election, looking at the presidential margin, the votes that the president gets, and looking at the supplementary elections, the wide margin, how certain are you your governor is struggling for victory, clearly?
Of course, from the things presently on the ground, we are almost 99.9% sure that majority of the votes will come our way. So we are sure, by Allah's grace, that Ganduji will emerge the governor of Kano State once again.
Thank you very much for talking to us, Mr. Aminu, sir. There you are, Millicent. That's it, the Director General, Media and Publicity to Kano State Governor, Mr. Aminu Yesar, giving us a heads up ahead of the rerun election in Kano. And we are following it up to see that if there are other issues that may come up, and we will stay on top of the situation to keep updating Nigerians regarding what will happen in Kano State. But right now, I must tell you that the atmosphere in Kano is generally peaceful. as far as Kano is concerned for the rerun elections.
Many thanks, Idris Jibrin, with the latest there from Kano. But let's take you back to Bauchi, where yesterday, while stakeholders were getting set for completing of collation in the state governorship election, but then we had the legal move by the APC stalling the process largely for the governorship arm of the process. The State Assembly results for the Tafawa Balewa local government, however, concluded. Well, let's get to really find out what's happening now on ground in Bauchi. And this is the day after the dramatic legal lockdown. We have our correspondent there for us, Hajara. Hajara, what can you tell us about today in Bauchi State?
The mood generally in Bauchi State is in wait and see after the court order came yesterday restraining INEC from proceeding with the coalition conclusion and announcement of results for Tafawa Balewa local government area. There is anxiety in both camps pending the development from the courts. Yesterday, INEC announced that it was going to proceed with the coalition for the state's constituency results for Tafawa Balewa local government area, and that has been concluded. The candidate of the People's Democratic Party was announced winner of the state constituency election. For now, there will be a supplementary election on Saturday, says INEC, with or without the result of Tafawa Balewa local government area. And both camps are strategizing on how to win the election that will take place in some affected polling units across some local government areas in the state. Residents of Bauchi State have chosen to approach this matter peacefully. But certainly, they want the matter resolved as soon as possible and a winner announced. From Bauchi, Hajara Aliu for Channels TV.
And Channels Television will still be keeping a close eye on some of the states where perhaps supplementary elections will hold on Saturday or otherwise, and also the legal logjam on some of these issues in the coming days. But let's also tell you that the Senate approved the 30,000 naira new minimum wage for Nigerian workers. Now, the decision was reached after the Senate received the reports and approved the recommendation of its ad hoc committee on the national minimum wage. Our correspondent Linda Akibe reports that the upper chamber is also asking the federal government to review the country's current revenue sharing formula. Take a listen.
It's the first legislative session for the week, and senators in the Red Chamber are working on an important piece of legislation before them, the National Minimum Wage Bill. The Senate follows the footsteps of the House of Representatives and approves a national minimum wage of 30,000 naira for federal and state workers, up from the 27,000 naira minimum wage proposed by the federal government. Lawmakers welcome the new national minimum wage policy and call for its full implementation by government at all levels.
One of the recommendations that the federal government should put in place procedure that will lead to a review of the revenue sharing formula to enhance state capabilities towards implementation of the national minimum wage. That is the key there, because without that, states will not be able to pay.
The Senate is also asking the Minister of Finance to immediately make provision for the new national minimum wage in the 2019 budget presently before the National Assembly. While the Senate discusses the minimum wage bill, a meeting is ongoing between the Minister of Budget and National Planning, Senator Udo Udoma, and the Senate Committee on Finance. The minister informs the committee that government has concluded plans to look into ways of increasing revenue to fund the new national minimum wage.
So it's something that we're going to work closely with the finance committee and on how best, this minimum wage will be addressed, both for the federal government and the states, to ensure that the whole government apparatus isn't just to pay salaries and nothing else.
The budget minister also speaks about the federal government's new plan to review value-added tax.
So we will be coming to you. There may be some changes, maybe VAT or other things, that will be coming to you in order to make sure that we can fund the minimum wage.
The minister also discloses that the federal government is setting up a committee which will not only look for ways of increasing revenue to fund the new national minimum wage, but is also expected to enter into negotiation with workers who are already above the minimum wage bracket to lower the burden on government. Linda Kibe, Channels Television News.
And that's it on the program Lunchtime Politics from Channels Television, your home for the news. I'm Millicent Walker. Many thanks for watching.